first of all, I would not put Richard Spencer and Josh Mandel in the same category. They're completely different. I mean, Josh Mandel is a veteran who served his country honorably and who sought political office and seeks higher office, who served in public life and seeks higher office today. So we may not agree on everything, but he is like an upstanding member of society. I would contrast that quite distinctly with Richard Spencer, who's a white supremacist, who's, you know, I think doesn't serve the public interest, but in fact has had a very negative impact on the communities where he's brought his divisive and hateful message. I certainly believe in free speech. I mean, the ADL, we are fierce advocates for the First Amendment, and you know, under the rubric of indeed the Constitution, people have the right to express, you know, ugly ideas, and so I think that we need to be able to distinguish between hateful speech and harmful speech. That is, a speech that expresses, again, ugly ideas, and speech that incites violence, that slanders individuals or terrorizes them based on how they pray or where they're from or who they love. And Richard Spencer is a proponent of the latter. And I think that does not belong in the public square. It's not what the founders had in mind when they talked about the right of free expression. They didn't mean the right to incite violence. When they talked about freedom of speech, they didn't mean a freedom to slander. And when they talked about freedom of assembly, I don't think they envisioned the freedom to assemble around a synagogue, as happened in Charlottesville, with torches and chant "burn it down." And so I think Richard Spencer twists the liberties enshrined in our Constitution for his own ugly, hateful ideology, and I find that very problematic. I don't agree with Josh Mandel on some of the issues. For example, you know, I don't think the alt-right merits any defense. The alt-right is a term that many in the white supremacist community use to describe themselves. You know, they're anti-Semites, bigots, racists. In the last 2 years, again, I think the political environment has changed pretty dramatically. I think in the last 2 years, social media has become even further enmeshed in our daily lives. I think in the last 2 years, there have been changes in the international scene, some of which I alluded to in terms of the, you know, the Iranian nuclear deal. I think in the last 2 years, there have been changes in the global political environment, and I mentioned some of those, these recent elections in Europe. All of these issues create both challenges and opportunities for our organization and for our community. So what I'm trying to do is to make sure that we remain rooted in our principles, remain true to our founding mission, and try to focus on dealing with the threats even as they evolve and change in the current time.